All right, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we are gonna continue. Uh, we're gonna continue doing Rust things. I don't know what we are doing today. We're just gonna. I'll see. I honestly, I haven't decided what I wanted to do because I was busy doing some stuff, some Rust related stuff before the stream, and I ran into a tiny bit of a problem that I had to also solve. But on the bright side, I got to learn something in the process. Give me a second. Let me position my VTuber model and I think we're good to go. Okay. All right. Guys, I am excited about how comfortable I'm getting with doing Rust things and writing Rust code. So this is the Rust dumb programs thing that I was working on. Earlier today, I finished the program. It basically, wait, let's, there. So here it asks for, oh, actually, I forgot. It's, yeah, I need to update this. I completely forgot about that. I was in a rush to push this that I forgot about the text input that needs to be added. I also need to remove that struct because I'm not using the struct at all. But yeah, it's asking to enter something. You're supposed to enter anything between 0 and 3. Um, let's say I do 0, so that so the feed action has been selected, and then based on that, the pet is gonna respond with some sarcastic remark. In this case, it says, "Is this it? Is this the pinnacle of human AI interaction? I'm going to sleep." Let's try another action. Scolding. For scolding, I don't remember because I set it up such that depending on, give me a second, depending on the action, there will be a specific mood selected, and yeah, yeah. So based on the mood. Okay, sorry, I was distracted with something. So, depending on the action that you have selected, the pet's mood is going to change, and then the response that the pet gives is going to depend on the mood. What I've done is to store the dialogues or responses. I created a hash map. The hash map uses a key type of mood and value type of string slice array. So for each key, for each mood, there's going to be a string slice array value. And that in that way, I've set up 4 string slices for the bored mood, 4 for judgmental, 4 for existential, and 4 for spicy. So we have 4 different dialogues for each mood. Depending on what the mood is, the mood changes based on what action has been selected by the user. And I'm kind of happy that I got a chance to use this because I haven't been using, like, okay, you are able to set the value for variables using various things like if conditions, match blocks, match patterns, and probably a couple of other things as well. I think loop also. Yes, yes. I remember this was um like way back into the basics of Rust. Loop was also one of the things I don't remember exactly like what the I think it was some sort of processing. Like you can do processing on that variable within a loop. So this way you don't have to initialize the variable first in a separate statement and then set up a loop block in order to, set the value for the thing. You could just do, so and so variable equals, and then instead of giving a solid value, you give this entire block of logic, which eventually assigns the value over to the variable. Something worth looking into would be if, um, let's say within the initialization, you're running a loop block, do you still need to make the variable mutable or not? Like, is that a necessity or not? Because technically, we're not mutating the variable afterwards. We are still setting the value, right? So I don't know if it being mutable is going to be necessary. Either way, um, I was actually having a conversation with Gemini about this, and I think that's what I'll do. I'll read the conversations that I was having because there's a bunch of stuff to explore. I haven't, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to dive too deep into try into and try from, but the reason for that is because I decided to go ahead and finish this exercise, and so instead of getting busy with try into and try from, I got busy with this instead. Another thing that I'm kind of proud of words. Oh my god! Another thing that I'm kind of proud of, but I did need some help with it. Is this thing? I use the if let syntax to get a value, to get the how to get a value out of a result, to get the okay value out of a result. Additionally, I also used else, in order to, have a different logic. So in case if it's an error, or if it's not an okay, with a result, it's only going to be one of two things. It's going to be okay or error. So if I have the first pattern here as okay, the second pattern, even though I haven't explicitly said else if so and so, um, it's I guess that's literally the only thing that it can be, right? Um, but yeah, I also managed to use that logic in here, and dude, I'm slowly getting a hang of how Rust coding works, how Rust logic is supposed to work. Give me a second. Okay, all right. So, yeah, dude, I am kind of tempted to ask Gemini for another one right now. I'm gonna ask Gemini for another exercise again, like eventually, just so I can, practice more. I'm wondering if I should take some time and learn about iterators properly. I mean, like properly understand iterators, because I mean, so far I've been exploring iterators a lot, anyways. It's just if I properly learn about iterators, and um, that way I'll be learning all about iterators instead of learning small pieces here and there. Yeah. Give me a second while I make some changes here. I don't think we have any other issues other than this. So, within our loop, we have, oh, okay, you know what we could do? Whenever the program starts, we can give a little welcome message. Welcome to virtual terminal pet. Or did I, words? Oh my God. Did I call it terminal virtual pet. Give me a second here. Let me see. Goofy terminal virtual pet. Yeah, let's do that. Um, welcome to, actually, you know what? Let's do that. Welcome to Goofy terminal virtual pet. Um, then I guess let's go to the next line. You can select an action, uh, an action to take with the pet. I forgot how you write, how you stretch stuff to the next line in Rust. Does this work? No, I think that's going to become part of the thing. Oh, actually, in Rust. Oh, you know what? I would need to like break it down, right? Wait, let me run this. Yeah, okay. Um Select an action to take with the pet. Um that will change the pet's mood and the pet will respond accordingly. Respond according to its mood. Okay, does what happens here? Because I did take it to the next line, right? It's not wrapped. Um, let's run this. Yeah, yeah. It's going to the next line. It's not wrapped. Okay. All right. Then what else? I guess we can remove this from here and put it here. Maybe up. Yeah. Let's change this to select action. Um, 0 feed, 1. Should I put this on the next line? Maybe I should put this on the next line. Probably. Also, I like that. Wait, hold on. So in this case, because I'm able to do because I'm able to do new line stuff, I probably don't need this, right? Yeah, I don't think I need this. Would this work? Yeah, that works just fine. Okay. All right. Select action. 0 is feed. 1 is what all are the actions? Feed, pet, scold, ignore. Also, I just realized that I forgot to. Man, I'm glad that I realized this early. Otherwise, it would have been weird. I mean, not that bad, but like there would have been a bit of a lag between. Oh, actually, there's one more thing that I forgot. Okay. Uh, what was it? Feed, pet, scold, ignore. Okay, feed pet scold and ignore. And then let's say Q quit program. Um, enter your action and press enter. I need to make it clear that they need to enter um enter your action number or Q if you want to quit and press enter. Okay, great. Okay, let's read this. Welcome to Goofy Terminal Virtual Pet. Select an action to take with the pet. That will change the pet's mood, and the pet will respond according to its mood. Um, select action. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then Q is to quit the program. Enter your action number or Q if you want to quit and press enter. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, the pet responded. I need to find a way to give a good separation between the turns. So let's at the end here, if it ever makes it this far, then we'll print out what is this? Yeah. Then we'll print out this line. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Now there's a clear separation and we can see the response. Okay. Exiting. Okay. Yeah. I guess that's all we need in our example program, in our practice program. Let's read this again. Welcome to Goofy Terminal Virtual Pet. Select an action to take with your pet that will change the pet's mood, and the pet will respond according to its mood. Now, okay, what I've also done is I have pushed, hold on, I'm going to open up my GitHub. There. I'm just going to switch to BRB real quick so I can. Okay. There's GitHub. All right. Now in here, give me a second. Okay. Right. Let's do this and also refresh this feed. So what I did, and this is what I was doing off stream before, before starting today's stream. What I did is I set up the central repo, the local central repo for this project. And I also set up the GitHub repo for it. So that's going to be the cloud central repo. and then I added both of them as remotes. So if I do git remote, I think it's remote show. Yeah, so we have GitHub and we have Origin. Origin is just for the local thing, and GH is GitHub. And this is what I plan to do with pretty much all of my projects, because I do want to have this thing set up where I am um, I'm hosting the projects locally and on GitHub, even if the GitHub one ends up having to be private, like a private repo. Then even then, I would still like to, have a similar workflow where I have a central repo and a GitHub repo. I have a local central repo and a GitHub central repo for whatever project I'm working on. And the current project is the Rust dumb programs thing. Oh, actually, another thing I forgot about is this thing. Though I don't think I need to link this. People can just go into, like, um, if we look at the GitHub here, people can go into examples and EX01, and they'll have both the challenge text and the main code for this, which is here. So I don't think I need to stress about that too much. I think I'm good on that front. I do need to now make this push. I'll do this off stream. For now though, I am tempted, honestly, I am tempted to. Oh, give me a second. I forgot to open up my chat. Also, how are we doing on frames? We're good. Okay. Wait, that's wild. Why does it say 9 minutes ago? Was it 9 minutes ago? 9 minutes ago. Oh, it's because okay, yeah, no, never mind. The timing in my thing is off. This was probably 3 hours ago. This was 3 hours ago. It wasn't 9 minutes ago. Um, yeah, yeah, because on Windows, ever since I installed Ubuntu in Dual Boot, there's some kind of setting that I have to change probably, but my Windows clock, it usually ends up being 3 hours behind. And like, I mean, I can go in and reset it each time, but it doesn't really bother me. And I don't really spend that much time on Windows anyways. Literally the only time I come into Windows is when I have to start up the stream. And after the stream is over, I'll boot back into Ubuntu and continue my work there. So I don't really spend too much time on Windows anyways to bother with changing the time. Give me a second. Okay, all right. Now, so what I've done here is I have created I think I've explained this already. I don't think I need to go over it again. But yeah, just real quick, I've set up the remote for I've set up the I've set up the central repo on GitHub, and I've set up a local central repo as well. and both of these are remotes in the in this local working copy that I have. That's this. So yeah, yeah. This is what I'm planning on doing for like pretty much all of my projects. Actually, you know what? We could push this these changes right now. It's a let's say updated EX01. I think that's it. There's nothing more to add there. And now we need to do git push actually both, right? GitHub and this. So main, there's a shorter way of doing this as well, but once I found out about the longer way, I kind of like the verbosity of it. This is the more verbose method, and a slightly less verbose method would be this. This I believe this works if you are currently on the main branch and you are trying to merge with a remote main branch. Not merge, sorry, push to a remote main branch. I'm glad that I caught myself there because that was actually a bit of a confusion that I had. Um, when I'm actually still doing that research with Gemini, trying to understand what exactly happens during a push. And Gemini was giving me words. Oh my God, Gemini was giving me an explanation about how all of that is working. Okay, hold on. Git push gh main. I actually had an issue earlier, and that's one of the things that I was trying to solve. Thanks to Gemini, I was able to solve it like super easy. The issue that I had was that in my Git installation, I hadn't changed the setting uh, to where when you initialize a new repo, the the first branch that's created, I hadn't changed the setting to not say master, but instead say main, because main is a more now, widely adopted default branch name, first branch name. They've moved on from master a while back. However, it's still like a legacy kind of thing. So if you have an older installation, you're going to have to change the setting manually, which it's not really a big issue. It's just a git config file that you have to change. You can even change that setting from the command line and you're good to go. I never bothered doing that because I didn't really see a reason. I was like, okay, I'm okay with master. I'm okay with main. If master is the default right now, and for me it was the default because my installation is pretty like it's not that it's old, it's up to date, but when I installed Git was years ago. Actually, I don't even remember if I installed Git manually or if it just came with Ubuntu. I don't even remember that because even my Ubuntu installation, it has seen a couple of upgrades over the years. So the point is, regardless whether I installed it or it came, out of the box, it's an older installation. So whenever this shift happened, um, that did not change my default settings, and so any new projects that I was making, any new projects that were being initialized, any new repos, sorry, that were being initialized, the default branch name in them would be master, not main. Now that created a problem here because I created the working copy first, and then I created the local central repo. So the working copy was like a working directory. That was the repo in which I was actually doing work, making changes, doing commits, and finally I would be pushing out from there. Right? Um, where was I going with this? Yeah, I created my working copy first. Then I created the local central repo. So that's just a bare repo. And then I created the GitHub repo as well, and that was just an empty repo. I then added both of those repos as remotes in the working copies repo. Um, yeah. Sorry, I for a second again I forgot where I was going with it. Yeah, where I was going with this is that when I pushed, so the idea was that okay, I'll add both of the central repos as remotes to this working copy repo, and then I'll start pushing from here. So each of their master branches will be updated. The local central repo didn't have a main branch or a master branch. It didn't have any branch to begin with. And the GitHub repo had a branch, but it didn't have master, it had main. So what ended up happening is when I tried to push to the local central repo, it failed because I was just using git push origin. And if you're using that shortcut, you need to have like an upstream link set up. It needs to know, where it's pushing to and stuff like that. Unless you do this verbose method. I believe this verbose method would have worked if I had used the verbose method, but what I did was just this git push origin, and this is a very convenient shortcut. If you don't have the branch set up there though, you need to set up an upstream link so that Git knows that the next time you're doing git push origin, you want to push there. So I didn't know all of this stuff. So when I had a conversation with Gemini about it, then I understood. Oh yeah. So for the local central repo, it failed, and I was going to fix that later on. For GitHub, it pushed. However, it pushed master to GitHub, which did not have master. It had main instead. So now I had two branches on GitHub, main and master. That's where it became a bit of a mess. Fortunately, thanks to Gemini, I was able to clean up the whole thing. Gemini basically said that okay, start by renaming your current local master branch to main, and then fetch changes from main on the remote on GitHub. Just fetch the changes from there, and then merge those changes in. And if it's a brand new repo, you're either going to have nothing in there, or at the very least you'll have, maybe README, maybe a license file or whatever. So you can just merge that with your current work. So you can fetch the changes, and then you'll have the remote tracking branch. So you'll have a remote tracking branch main, and you'll have your local main. You can just merge the two. There won't be any conflicts because you don't have a local license file. You do have one on GitHub, and I did that. That was great. After that, I pushed those changes over to GitHub again, and now main was up to date. And then I went into the GitHub repo, and actually I didn't do it from the GitHub repo. I did it from here. It was this. It was okay. I don't remember. Hold on. I think it was this. Um, delete delete master. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think so. I think so. Let me try reading a TLDR for this. Not found. Oh, wait. Git push. Delete should be part of this. Um, delete. Yeah. So it says git push remote name and then -d or hyphen delete remote branch. Okay, so we want to do it's not gonna work, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Git push gh delete master. Unable to delete master, remote ref does not exist. So the branch doesn't exist because I've already deleted it. But this was the command that I had to use to delete it from the terminal. I could have deleted it from the UI as well, as in from GitHub, but I uh, I chose this method, and the good news is that it just worked. Like I can't show you the thing working right now, but it just worked. Now, okay, voice crack. Okay, now I need to push this. I believe I've done my commits, right? I believe I've done my commits. Hold on. Rust dump programs, git UI. It's one commit that I've done. Yes, it's one commit. We can probably fetch. So let's do git fetch. Okay. Um, git. Hold on. I'm trying to see remote. Uh, how do I see? Wait. TLDR git remote. Okay. So what does this say? Remote verbose, remote show, remote name. Okay. Okay. URL, remove a remote, rename a remote. I think I've done the verbose thing already. Yeah. How do I see? Okay. Right. I'm gonna have to look into how to go about reading this. However, now that I've fetched the changes, I can see here. Actually, yeah, I can see it right here. Um, GH main and origin main. Origin is the local central repo, and GH is the GitHub repo. And and this is our current main branch. So gh slash main is the remote tracking branch. Origin slash main is also the remote tracking branch. Main is our local branch. So all we need to do, I haven't actually tried pushing from here. Push tags, is there just a push option? Hold on. I see push tags. I don't see. What if we go into branches, remotes? Do we have anything here? There isn't. There has to be an option. I'm sure there's an option, but I just don't know. Um, yeah, I'll have to look into that. Right. So I guess we'll just push git origin. Hold on. I'm curious about something. Hey, if I have a Rust, if I have, okay, let's say if I have a project with a Git repo in it, and I have two central repos set up for it as remotes. Um, one local and another on GitHub, once I do git fetch, how or what commands can I use to see the various differences between the local? Oh, it would be git diff, wouldn't it? I think so. Git diff. How do we diff between branches? There's the pointer, okay, as in head, then whatever is staged, okay. Oh, branch. Git diff. Compare a single file between these two. Okay. Compare compare different files from current branch to another branch. No, okay, wait. Um, to see the various differences between the local branch and the remote tracking branches. Once you run git fetch, your local repository is updated with the latest history from your remotes, both your local central repo and GitHub. Your actual working files haven't changed yet, but your remote tracking branches like so and so and so and so are now up to date. Here are the best commands to see the differences depending on what exactly you want to look at. Okay, there's git log. Let's look at that. Git log, one line, graph. Wait, it's going to show graphs for all three? Oh, it's basically showing what we are seeing here. Okay, all right. Then we can list commits that are on the remote, but not in your local branch. Let's try that. Wait, list commits that you have locally, but not, but haven't pushed yet. That's actually okay. Okay. So there's a difference here apparently. So the first example Gemini gave was this, right? And then we do one line, so it's not giving like the entire thing. So this is listing commits that are on the remote, but not in your local branch, right? Then we have this origin slash main. This shows commits that are um, this shows commits that I have locally but haven't pushed yet. This is a tiny bit confusing. This is a tiny bit confusing. It's a lot simpler to just look at this because if I keep in mind that I'm looking at the branch names, main, GH main, that's a remote tracking branch, origin main, that's another remote tracking branch. If I just keep that in mind, then I'll be fine. Okay, the next thing, git diff main and origin main. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Git diff main and origin main. All right, this is showing us all the changes. Can I... Yeah, I guess I don't know what exactly I'm looking for other than this. I was about to be like, can I do so and so thing? But then I got stuck there because I was like, can I do what? I don't even know what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to see what the options are. Um, Good to know. This is definitely an option. And I love the fact that this is using Delta to do the diffing. Delta is, holy shit, dude. Delta is amazing. Okay. Then you can also compare specific files. That's okay. Great. And to see a high level summary, just see a high level file summary. If a line by line diff is too overwhelming, you can ask Git to just show you which files have changed. Let's do that. Git diff name status. So we add a name status flag here. I spelled name wrong. Name status flag. So mainly it's main.rs that has been modified, which is true. That is the only thing that has been modified. You can see that here. It mentions m main.rs. And yeah, so now I guess we can push this. So git push origin main. All right, that's done. And now I'll do the same thing for GitHub. That's done as well. If I refresh this, there, we can now see our latest commit. Yep, yep, these are the changes. Awesome, great. Okay, so now that that's done, two things that I could do. One, I could continue with, because we have a bunch of other stuff to do. If I scroll up this list, we have a bunch of other stuff to do. I also have, I believe, two entire knowledge base entries that I have to make about Git related stuff. I remember one was understanding Git commit objects. I never made that knowledge base entry. I need to make that before it becomes too late and the text is hard for me to find anymore and the images are hard for me to find. Fortunately, right now, even if I'm not able to find it, I can definitely find it on my local machine. I haven't deleted the images. The text, I believe it should be in one of the files. I don't think I've deleted it. I don't remember if I still have the text for the second post that I had made, which was also Git related. That post was trying to understand index, trying to understand the staging area, let's say. Um, I don't remember. I don't remember what I discovered there. I need to, yeah, I need to go read that again. And I guess this is, yeah, dude, this is a great example of situations where I might need to go back and relearn something because I learned it. I did a bit of a write up on it, and because I don't really deal with that information nearly as often. I mean, I use Git, but like it's not like I have to, go look at the inner workings of Git all the time, and that's why stuff that I learned about the inner workings, I might forget it sometimes. And it's great that Git has set up things in such a way that you don't need to understand how these things are working on a lower level. I try to understand it because I want to get an understanding of how things are working, but you don't need to do that. I just did that for my curiosity. Okay, so relearn, get, oh, we have to get back to this. I completely forgot about this. Then the knowledge base. Actually, yeah, I should start working on that knowledge base app now because I know how to use um, Clap and Inquire, so I can get the application to accept command line arguments, and I can also give the user prompts to type in information. So stuff like what is the title, what are the tags, what is the date. There was also some extra information there. I was chatting with Gemini, I believe, about rendering because I was curious about how the MD files are going to be rendered. Fortunately, Zola does have a Markdown renderer, so rendering can be done. There is a bit of customization that you can do there to control what the layout is going to look like, and for that, I need to add in an extra flag or something like that, or I can just have it as a blanket rule that that we are always going to use this specific layout file. So then I won't need to add that flag um, in in the toml front matter or in the front matter toml. Basically, in the front matter for every entry's markdown file, I won't need to add that flag. I mean, if it needs to be added later, I can do that. It can be added. For now, though, I do need to get back to the branching thing. We never really made too much progress on that. We did explore some of the other stuff. I guess I believe exploring the other stuff is how I'd gotten into that whole research about commit objects or git objects, and also the staging area, the index thing. Man, I'm glad that I not only did the research but also did a write up on it, and this is telling me that I need to do this more often. Yes, I need to do this more often. I need to start doing more write ups, um, and specifically in my format, because this stuff like blanket implementations, for example. I don't know if a couple months down the road I'm just not gonna remember it. So I would like to have that information and my explanation written down as well. Um, what else? What else? So where do we go from here? Because we have a couple of things to do. I still have the knowledge base to work on, right? I still have to continue learning Rust, continue with the basics. Um, Back up. Let's go back into NeoVim and syllabus. There. I need to be careful with that recent files thing because I don't know what's going to pop up in the search list. Like, look at that. There's just a whole bunch of files in here. Yep. Yep. I need to be very careful with this. Or I could configure it to not look at certain things, but then additionally, I could also just not put things into, not put sensitive information into text files. Okay, this is our syllabus, and I've learned about collections. I've actually used hash maps as well now, so I'm I'm super happy to be able to say that I'm comfortable with vectors and strings and hash maps because I've used all of them in various ways now. And then there's we are done with errors. We are done with at some point they also covered options, then traits, generics, lifetimes. Lifetimes I need to explore a lot more. It's one of those things that I feel like because I don't use it nearly as much, so I kind of forget sometimes that, yeah, this is the idea behind. I kind of know the idea, but I still, for some reason, don't fully feel confident in saying that, yeah, I understand this concept. Like, I get that the idea is that we are making sure that what we are sending out of the function is going to live long enough and not become invalid. Um, Thereby, leading to memory related issues. But what exactly are we doing to make that happen is what I don't fully understand. So I want to try and understand that. Um, Automated tests. I need to explore this chapter. I definitely need to explore this chapter. I have not explored this chapter at all. I barely know anything about writing tests. Fortunately, Rust has testing functionality built like within it, so you don't have to download a separate. There, I believe there are other tools that you can use, but you have at the very least basic testing functionality within Rust itself that you can build within your project. You can write up quick tests and make sure everything is fine rather than needing an external framework or external library of some sort. You still have them though for much more sophisticated functionality, much more advanced, complex purposes, because not all functionality is going to be simple tests. Sometimes people have very complex tests, and maybe the basic testing functionality doesn't satisfy their requirements, so they might use the advanced crates. But the point is, Rust does have that functionality. So that is done. That is not done, actually. I need to do that. I need to go through that. Then here, this is where I need to start from iterators. Because the last time that I got into this, I got stuck on the collect method and more specifically the turbofish syntax. And that from that point, I mean, even after I understood the idea there, basically it's that the functions are so generic that sometimes a compiler can't really make out um, what the type is supposed to be. So there might be a return type, and the function has been written in such a way that it it's supposed to return a generic type. It takes a certain type of value, but then it's supposed to return a generic type. Quite often that generic type is going to have like a trait bound, so that's why there's a tiny bit of um, I'm not sure what word to use, but like there's an expectation that there's going to be certain types of functionality already implemented on that type, but it's still a generic type. So the compiler doesn't know what the type is supposed to be. This function or method is supposed to be returning, it's supposed to be returning a certain type, but it's returning a generic type. So like what is that type supposed to be? The compiler can't make it out, and so it's going to throw an error saying, explicit type annotation needed and stuff like that. That's one situation. There's multiple other situations as well, but that's one situation where you would need to explicitly specify what the type is, and that is why you have the turbofish syntax. So you can either um, do type annotation next to the name of the variable, or you can do type annotation using the turbofish syntax so the compiler knows exactly what type you are expecting um, to be used here in whatever way, maybe taking in, maybe giving out. Give me a second. Okay, yeah. So I need to proceed with this with iterators because there is a lot of stuff that you can do with iterators. And I feel like I haven't explored nearly as much of it as I'd like to. I want to explore all of it, to be honest, but like I haven't really touched. I feel like I haven't touched this subject a whole lot. I've explored traits like iterator, from iterator into iterator, and there's other iterator related stuff. And I believe even there we tend to have some blanket implementations. I don't remember what though. I was having a conversation with Gemini about it. And then, dude, we get into something really interesting, which is smart pointers. This is going to be this is going to become this is going to become really interesting, especially now that I'm more or less revisiting the concept of smart pointers, but with much, much better understanding of Rust concepts than I did have before. Because the last time that I explored it, which was years ago, like in my earlier Rust days, where I didn't really take Rust very seriously. It was just like, oh, okay, I'm trying to learn some of the basics, and then I'll go back to my other stuff. I wasn't taking Rust all that seriously. Um, I learned about smart pointers. I did a couple of examples using smart pointers. I also had this tic-tac-toe program. Actually, you know what? Now that I have better knowledge, it's right here. Tic-tac. Apparently, I pinned it. Okay. Now that I have better knowledge of this, of Rust, I could try. I'm not going to try recreating the game because there was a whole bunch of stuff that I had to do in there. I might be able to do a better job now, but like I would much rather spend my time doing other Rust related stuff. Here is the game. I don't remember if I set it up as a module or no. This is all within. Yeah, okay, you know what I could do? Examples. Yeah. I'll set it up as examples. I need um hold on. Uh, Wait. I'm gonna do something here. GitHub K tic tac toe tic tac toe under no tic tac toe hyphen Rust. Okay. So we copy the entire code from here and paste it somewhere here. I don't want to do it in the actually okay, I could do it here and then I'll delete it. Or do I have another Rust project open? How was I running this? Bin, right? Okay, what we can do is I'll close this project, open the project here, restore this, and then in bin, I'll just create a new, yeah, yeah, dot slash source slash bin, tic tac toe, tic tac toe dot rs. Wait, give that a second, let it finish loading. And then, um, Okay, that's taking some time. Oh, is it done? Now I think it's done. Okay, done. Main function not found in crit. Wait, is this supposed to be a module? I thought there was a main thing here. Wait, there's init. What were my instructions here? What instructions did I give? A TikTok so and so, not TikTok, tic-tac-toe so and so. To use, just drag this into your project and then add the following code. So it's a module. Okay. So in order to use this, I'm gonna close this real quick. Um, come here, bin, tic-tac-toe, um, sum01. Let's create. Okay, wait. Let's do tic-tac-toe and cut this, paste, and then add a new file, main.rs, and open that up over here. So we want a main function and nothing here. Let's try that again. The snippets thing messed me up a little. Yeah, there. So here we want to do tic-tac-toe and use tic-tac-toe game loop. Then you call the game loop in your, okay. All right, let's give this a try. So we are looking at tic-tac-toe. Okay, that's the game. So it says tic-tac-toe. The board cells are laid out like so. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. So player enters cell number to play their turn. Player one's turn. I don't think I'd made um I don't think I'd made like AI for this. So I think this was a two-player thing. Yeah, I think so. So if I say 1, now you can see X there. Now it's player two's turn. I'll say 6. Now it's there. Then I don't know, 0, and then let's say 0, 1, 2. And for the sake of winning, I believe I did put winning logic, like to constantly check if somebody has won. So I'm going to do 8 and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I add winning logic in there? I can't remember if I did. I believe I did. Why did the game not stop? Actually, what did I add for like if if a cell is already occupied. Oh, I did add a check in there. Okay. Um, 0, 1, 2, 3, I guess. And well, the game is still going. Then 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. It's still going. There's a there's an issue here. There is an issue here. I did not realize this. There's an issue here. The game is never ending. Let's try that again. Okay. Let's say 8. Okay. 6, and then 4, and then 7, and then 0. Okay, that logic works. The other thing didn't work. So I did write, I believe I had set it up as a sort of truth table kind of thing, where each cell had like a set number of cells that it could, be considered as each cell could check certain other rows of cells or certain other collections of cells to see if there's matching stuff in there. And I defined the truth table somewhere here. This was wait, was it this? It wasn't this. It was not this. Where did I define the truth table? Because I know there was a truth table. There was definitely a truth table. Could it have been this? It could have been this. Here I was using both struct and RC, I believe. This was one of the first times I was using RC. Or maybe it was ref cell. Could have been ref cell. I don't know. I'm not sure. Um Oh, combos. I think combos is where it's stored, right? Because if you look at the numbers here, it's saying like horizontal and then diagonal 048, that's diagonal. 036 would be vertical. So yeah, this is the truth table. For each cell, we would be checking what the for each cell we would have these rows that we could check, these combinations that we could check to see if a certain player has won. And dude, honestly, I was proud of my words. Holy shit. Wait, chill out. Honestly, I was proud of my code. I was proud of what I had done because this was the first time that I'd set up this kind of thing. And I'd made this with very bare bones Rust knowledge. I barely knew what I was doing. I was constantly running into errors and I couldn't fully understand why I was running into errors. So there was a lot of research that I had to do. Also, I don't know if this was back when we were using LLMs or not, because it says 2 years ago. I don't know if it has like an exact date. Um, Yeah, it just says 2 years ago. Let's click on the commit and see. Yeah, there should be an exact date, right? That's part of the. It's from 2024. Well, I think no, I think I was using LLMs at the time. Yeah, yeah. At the very least to, get information to like try and understand concepts. I'm pretty sure I was anytime I ran into code related issues, I would go and ask. I don't remember if Gemini was called Bard back then. Actually, I don't remember if Gemini was called Gemini back then or Bard, because it was called Google Bard, um, and then they changed the name to Gemini. Or was there something in between? I don't remember if there was something in between. But yeah, yeah, this was one of my projects. Um, Now we can close this. Is there an error here? Yeah, why is it saying that there's, oh, maybe I just need to close it and reopen it? Nope. There's an issue somewhere here. There's warnings as well. Oh, unneeded return statement. Yeah, I could have, because this is returning a string, so I could have just done this, and that would have been valid. What else was the issue here? Debug cell. Okay, push str using a single character string. String literal. Wait, calling push str using a single so and so. Okay, consider using push with a character literal. Okay, is there? Yeah, let's do that. Awesome. Method implementation. Oh, is this where the error is? That's not where the error is. There's an error somewhere. I don't see the error though. Oh, there it is. This comparison involving the minimum or maximum element for this type contains a case that is always true or always false. I'm curious about how is it that I didn't get this error before, but I'm getting it now. And the error is coming from Clippy apparently. Absurd extreme comparisons. Oh, is this not an error? Because if this wasn't an error, then if this was an error, it wouldn't compile. It's compiling. This is not an error. This is just Clippy complaining that the condition could be better. Use so and so dot contains so and so. Oh yeah, at the time I didn't know too much about like ranges and the various methods and stuff. Okay, we could try that. Let's see the code action. Use this. And Clippy is not complaining anymore. What was the previous logic though? This was saying if a is greater than or equal to 0 and a was less than or equal to 8. So basically, I was doing a check if it was between 0 and 8, 0 inclusive and 8 inclusive. And the idea given here is to instead the idea given here is to instead I'm gonna do this myself. So this is a range, right? 0 to 8. I also learned this today. This, I believe I had learned this at the beginning when I was learning Rust, but it's just something that I didn't use nearly as often, and then I just forgot. So this is a way of creating ranges in Rust. I knew about that. This specifies a range from 0 to 8, right? But 8 is exclusive. 8 is not inclusive in this. If you want 8 to be inclusive, you add an equal sign. So now it's inclusive. Okay, now within this range, we have this contains method. What does this do? This returns true if an item is contained in the range. Okay, that is exactly what I was trying to set up. And it takes self, well, a reference of self. Is there a different way that I could have called this? Because the self that I'm passing in here is a usize. So is there a way that I could have called this on the usize variable itself and then pass in a range? I wanna see if there's a different way to write this. Hold on. So let's say this dot contains 8 doesn't have that. Okay, can't do that. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay. No, I'm curious, dude. Is there a different, because like, okay, we write this. Actually, I probably shouldn't do this in this example. I'll write the code here and just do that. Okay, that's done. That's not complaining. Result. The result must be used because readline gives us a result. We need to unwrap this. The thing is, unwrap could, is it going to throw an error? Is there at all a chance? No. Okay. I guess you call this infallible. I think so. Yeah, yeah. And it still compiles. Okay, all right. Dude, nice to explore my old code, my old projects, or project in this case, because it's not like I've done all that many Rust projects. That is about to change though, because I am actively working on Rust projects. So that is definitely going to change. But um, I I think that's going to be it for today's stream. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna end the stream here. I will try to start the stream earlier tomorrow. I do also want to get a vlog in tomorrow. I want to talk about this dumb Rust projects thing, Rust dumb programs repo, and maybe I'll see one or two other things that I want to talk about. I don't want to turn it into another thing where I'm demonstrating a certain Rust concept because I've done that for the past two vlogs already. I don't want to make that a thing. Well, I don't want to make that a very common thing. I want it to be more like me talking about stuff that I've been up to. I'll have a bunch of things to talk about, especially once like we start going into once we continue with our ESP32 stuff, which holy shit, dude, there's so much backlog that I have to clear up before we get back to ESP32. But holy shit, we are gonna get back to ESP32. We are we are absolutely gonna get back to ESP32. We did not spend all of this time doing so much research and learning all of these things about how PWM works on a lower level to just give up. Um, we I guess a more cliche way to say that is we've come too far to quit now. And I mean that just sounds dramatic. I'm not planning on quitting, but I definitely don't oh my god, words. I definitely don't want this to get pushed to the side. The ESP32 thing, I don't want that to get pushed to the side. There's a bunch of projects that I want to work on even even with the ESP32. And amazing news is that all of that is going to be in Rust. So there's going to be a whole lot of Rust programming that we're going to be doing in the future. I'm excited, dude. I'm definitely excited. I think today off stream, after I'm done like reading those extra conversations that I was having with Gemini, I'll get to working on the knowledge base application, because right now there's only supposed to be one subcommand. I don't have any plans for another subcommand in there. In fact, considering that it's only one subcommand, I might as well just make the entire program about that. But then I kind of want to future proof it a tiny bit, because I'm calling the program KB tool as a knowledge base tool. And I want there to be options in case I decide in the future that, oh, this knowledge base, this knowledge base tool could use some extra features, some extra commands in it, like, I don't know, maybe deleting a knowledge base entry or something else. I don't know. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna make it as a subcommand. So creating an entry is gonna be a subcommand of the KB tool command, and that's how the entire tool is gonna progress. I also have my dot files repo that I have to make. It's not the repo that's gonna take time so much as creating the application to pull all of those files in. Yeah, yeah. That's what's going to take a lot more time. Fortunately, though, I have some ideas for what I want to do with that. It's something simple, really. I just want to make it so I can create a TOML file. Within the TOML file, I'll have a paths table, and that table is going to have the various, maybe it'll have an array. And within that array, actually, at that point, I don't even need a table. Um, I'll have to see. I'll have to see how to go about doing that, because it's not just going to be single files. It could also be entire directories that I want to copy. I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, yeah. That is going to be it for today's stream. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.